Welcome back to the Social Seller Podcast with Conor Paulsen, where we interview the world's highest quality communicators, professionals, business owners, creatives, and everything in between. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're a high quality communicator, there's a good chance you're living a lot happier life, but you're also bringing those opportunities into your life almost like a magnet. My guarantee is that on this show, we only interview people that I, one, look up to, and two, that I know are going to continue to kill the game for years to come, and I want to make sure they're on your radar. But what I've learned is by asking the best questions, we get the best responses, and that's what the highest quality communicators, our social sellers, are all about. Let's hop inside to the Social Seller Podcast. Welcome back, social sellers. It's a different kind of episode. It's a new year. I think we're an episode or two in, and it only makes sense to be able to provide a different level of value. I want to be very transparent with you if that's okay. I have been a little nervous to do a solo podcast interview, so I'll keep it short. It won't be an hour. It'll be condensed. And this is me wanting to be a better version for you guys and provide more value. Now, I really like to reflect and look at different periods of life. At the end of last year, I started to look at what a few of the biggest takeaways or lessons were in 2021. Now, they didn't have to just happen in 2021. It could have been years in the making or my whole life in the making, but maybe the revelation or some kind of connection came true. And if it's okay with you, I'd love to share these with the fellow social sellers. And what I've learned in my life is that listening with an open mind and open ears, you don't have to agree with it. But what often happens for myself is I hear people I look up to and I listen to interviews, and it's little off the cuff, like not big points, but it's the little things. And sometimes they connect dots and they build bridges in my mind that make sense of two things I didn't maybe understand before. Or what happens a lot of times is I can relate to other things that have happened in my life, maybe in the last few days or last few weeks, or maybe in the last year or something, and it just stuck out and somehow it resonates. So listen with open ears. And how I want to position this for us is lessons for 2022. And Oscar, I appreciate you again. All of us social sellers appreciate you, brother. We're giving you a big round of applause. Thank you, man. Now, we're going to hop into 8 points, and I'm going to dive right in. There's a couple points that I want to make a couple statements on, and I want this to be a place that we can all look back at any time, any year. But I want this to be a checkpoint for all of us and maybe to show some of the things that my takeaways were, because a lot of these are built through adversity that I've felt that maybe I haven't shared yet. Number one, lessons for 2022 for us social sellers and going into it and owning 2022 and beyond. Number one, adversity is guaranteed. Love it, right? And I wanted to start this off because right away it is just the absolute truth of life. It's not easy for anyone, and I've come to understand that. Now, I haven't experienced everyone's life. I don't think it's actually that easy, because on the outside, if we think a life is easy, usually those individuals deal with some challenges in other ways that maybe we don't see at the surface level, right? Lessons for 2022. Number two, love is real and it's all around us. Now, this was a huge takeaway from 2021, and I was in a long-term relationship for a few years, and it took until last year, well over a year, maybe a year and a half, until I kind of had this realization. And growing up, I've always tried to better understand what love is, and I didn't really understand it. I only saw love in one way. I saw love as like you loved the person you maybe date, but you especially love the person you marry. And then there's love, and then your immediate family, you have love. But it was almost like it was everything fed to me that I saw in media. I didn't necessarily know and feel it fully to connect all the dots. And because of this relationship and then just time and growth and being able to grow from it and then reflect and meet beautiful people and then to have comparisons, and not necessarily comparisons, but different baselines, just showed me that we can have love, and what we really have is we have love with anyone we see, anyone we meet, anyone that we walk by in a grocery store, hanging out in the DMV office, waiting for a new driver's license, right? Now that sounds weird, but it comes in all shapes and sizes, and I think I heard that a handful of times growing up in like kindergarten, preschool, and beyond. I didn't understand the cliche. Now I really do, that us humans, we're connected in some form of love, and I'm still learning more, but we can share this, and it's a universal thing. So even though we can have someone in our life, We can still love someone out of our life, but it just takes a different form and a shape, right? We can still have love and nothing else adjusts, but love can phase, it can adapt, and it can evolve. And I think there's a beauty in that within seeing, and I didn't realize that. Love is real, and it's all around us. Point number 3, lessons for 2022. Touching nature once per day. Sounds weird. Just start testing it. Try it out, right? When you're on your walk outside, maybe you do it once per day, or whenever you get outside, take a second to maybe touch, the flower, touch the you're walking by the tree and the sun's going down and you kind of see it through a leaf. Like it's awesome, but maybe take a quick second to look at the veins and really look close in the detail in the leaf. And the trick here is touching it. And there's been a handful of studies in the last couple of years that have just shown that we can increase and actually explode the happiness chemicals in our brain by touching nature, or just admiring nature, a sunrise, a sunset, and taking a few seconds to really just enjoy it and realize that it's one of a kind. That's unreal. Touch nature once per day. Number 4, challenge yourself. Challenges come in all forms and shapes. I look up to, I would say 90% of the people I look up to right now in life are all people that challenge themselves at levels that I'm not at yet, that I look up to. And this can take so many shapes and forms. I'm really proud of myself to complete 75 hard and go 83 days, right? That wasn't last year. That was the 2020, the second half of 2020. I realized, and a takeaway here is that a challenge in that shape is a pretty cliche, like straightforward challenge, is something that opened my eyes to mental and physical new baselines and capacities that I want to reach. And I have a good feeling it could be for anyone listening too. But I think this takes so many other shapes and forms. We can challenge ourselves, and it could be a dry January. It could be a dry month, whatever the start of next month is. It could be, taking immediate action in whatever we want to do. Usually we all have that little voice in the back of our mind. And it's sometimes a voice that's telling us to be lazy, and we got to quiet that. But sometimes it's the voice of truth, and it's the truth within our soul that's just telling us, like, I know it's scary. And our body almost feels like we don't want to let it come up. But following some of those ideas, right? And I think those challenges could be losing 5 pounds this month, but doing it in a healthy, sustainable way. It's whatever means the most to you, but those voices are true for all of us humans. And if you feel like that next level could make you a better human, I have a good feeling of what I've learned in my life up to this point is that by completing that, you open one door, but the magical thing that starts to happen is you create momentum, and this momentum opens up other doors because you opened up this door. And it doesn't have to make sense. I know a lot of friends talked about this with me, and it didn't make sense for years. And I looked up to these friends. They were winning big competitions on stages. They had fast-growing companies. They had all the big investments. And I realized, now I'm starting to see it. I've always been a year or two behind, but I want to be here to document it and share it with you. So again, number 4, challenge yourself. We're getting down to the last few. Number 5, the best introduction in any room, in any environment, is a cheek-to-cheek grin. And make sure it's authentic, right? This is something I'm working on. Going into, let's play an experience, right? So we are walking into a networking event. We're fresh out of COVID, and this is a big one. Whatever industry we work in, whatever excites us, we're going in, and there's 300 people that we are just excited to talk to. We know there's business opportunities, and we go in. You might not know a single person in there, and this is sometimes the hardest, and this is what I'm working on, is still walking in with a huge smile, right? And what it does is it just shows to the world a level of confidence. Internally, it also increases all the feel-good chemicals and increases confidence. But on the second layer, and I think the most important, is it makes it very open and inviting to want to talk to you. Why is that person so happy? Why is he or she so happy? Like, what do they know that I don't know? That person's really happy. I might question, I feel like they might know better people in this room than I do. I want to talk to them. Number 5, the best introduction in any environment is a cheek-to-cheek grin. Number 6, seasons are out of our control. And it's perfect, period. I grew up in Iowa with 4 seasons, right? Summer, fall, winter, spring. A lot of people in the world would probably say the winter seasons and maybe part of the spring suck, right? Because it's cold and it might hurt to go outside. Yet they might like the second half of spring, or we'll say they like summer and fall, right? Good temperatures. At the end of the day, for any of us, and I've lived in parts of the world where we only have 2 seasons, right? Dry season, wet season. And regardless of where we live, we don't have control of the season. And there's a beauty in that, and realizing in life, adversity is going to happen to all of us. Like point number 1, knowing it's going to happen, but not viewing it as something that sucks anymore, right? And this takes some practice, but it's knowing that this is going to be the next better version of me. And I think that's something to look forward to. And when you start practicing some of these things, it opens doors again. Again, seasons are out of our control, and it's perfect. When we feel shitty seasons, knowing that it might be that winter season, but it's out of our control. And what do we know if we're in the winter season? Spring's right around the corner. It might be a couple weeks away, right? When we're in the good seasons, this is something that I really experienced in 2021, was being able to be grateful for knowing it's a good season. And I realized 80% of the year, I thought it was in a good season. Now, if we look at our financials, I don't know if they would align per se, right? Now, we doubled the growth of the company year after year after year, quarter after quarter, right? Comparatively, year after year. It's being able to just realize a lot of these things are out of our control. I mention this because I don't pay attention to it as well as I should, and that's on a side topic, a personal note. Now, point number 7, book a flight and adventure, and this is part of our boy and recent guest. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on our boy? Charles Resnick. Jesus, I love that you had to pull your phone up too. I was thinking of all these like Thailand like city names or something. Brother Charles, I am so pumped, and the fact that you are doing it and living it just reminds me of the year experience I got to live, and going to parts of the world. And I think the challenge here is getting out of North America, right? Like the Caribbean's cool, but like go to a different continent. And I think that can open some eyes. And just adventure in any ways, any shape, any form. A goal for mine that I read every single morning all throughout 2021 was that every single week I want to make either a new friend, experience a new place, or experience a new adventure, and really capitalizing on the adventure side. I view adventure a little different than traveling, right? Adventure might be getting a little more experienced or getting more involved with like the locals and getting some advice. It could be taking a little risk at times. Now, that's something that I love. I don't have a girlfriend in my life up to this point that likes that aspect, so it's good to have the yin and yang. Yeah, literally, international travel creates some challenges, and we're able to grow. Now, number 8, or after number 7, book a flight and adventure. Adventure and just go to the place. The first step is always booking the flight. And my best advice is open an incognito tab right now and go to skyscanner.com and have a little flexibility in your arrival and departure dates. If you have 1 to 2 days, you're going to fly cheap. Now, once you have that booked, whether it's a month out, 6 months out, 2 years out, have it, because everything else comes to fruition around it somehow. But the flights need to be booked, and I've always learned that's the first step. The final point, Oscar, I hope you're ready. Number 8, prayers and gratitude do wonders. And I don't know how else to explain it. Gratitude has changed my life, and I feel like I've only scraped the surface. I am not religious per se, yet I have a relationship with God, with Jesus Christ, and it's a daily dialogue, right? But I also have it with the universe. At the same time, I believe in all gods, right? Do I know anything about some of them? No. I get it all. And all I'm saying is it's this open dialogue. It could be gratitude before a meal. And that was something that I grew up with, and being raised with families valuing religion, which is beautiful and I love. I see almost this higher level that it's just almost a map to aspire to be. And Gratitude opens up those doors. To what I explained on point number 3 or 4 was that it opens up doors. And it's funny how maybe you've heard other people talk about this, and in no way am I successful, but I have a good feeling we're on a track, and I'm saying the people I'm around, and we're going towards something we love. Whether it takes a year or 10 years, we're still loving what we're doing. Oscar, what we're doing, we're having fun, man. And this is true for all of us. It's just chasing after what that feels like. And at a certain point, usually we have to deal with some suck, right? Like, it's gonna suck. It's why 90% of companies fail in the first 5 years, right? But if you can endure this suck and you can be around some quality people, it's wild what doors it opens. And you start to realize that life does not have to be on anyone's terms. And freedom takes a whole nother definition. It's not freedom like how the American flag waves in the wind at Perkins. That's a big ass flag. No, it is straight up how much freedom we're able to have in this country. And goddamn, we're lucky to live in the U.S. If you're listening here, or maybe your country allows all of this, but we live in a place, and I just see so many of us, we just love to complain, and I get it, but complaining just does nothing. And this is the point I want to make on number 8, is I have to code it as prayers and gratitude. But the reality is we should stop complaining. With gratitude, that bullshit comes out of our life, and we can all live it. And if us males want to be a more alpha male and show up for our women better, our men better, whatever that is, our significant other more effectively, becoming and challenging ourselves is that next step. And you know it. Like, I'm not here to preach. I'm not a coach. We're doing it because we want to, and we know we can make a bigger impact on the world. And that's what a social seller is about. It's not about sales. That might be a part of it, right? It's about stating and having values and communicating that effectively, right? We don't bullshit. We don't lie. It's having fun in what we're doing. And it doesn't mean you have to have a certain position or a title. You don't have to be a manager. You could be, the fresh out of college and taking a low-level job. You are a social seller if you just have values and watch what happens in the space. Now, it took me 6 to 7 years of the B2B space, well over a decade in sales, to kind of realize you don't want to be the hypey salesperson, right? And this is the bonus point number 9. Undervaluing and setting real expectations might be the most beautiful thing I've also learned on the professional side in 2021, because it creates the perfect opportunity for a relationship to blossom, right? Over-delivering, baby. I will list the last 8 real quick as a reminder. Oscar, appreciate you, brother. I know all your work is picking up. For anyone in Southern California doing big time work, and I'm talking any kind of video, from your supercars to your professional athlete, celebrity, it doesn't matter. He's used to it all. But I'm saying any kind of content, you can check out his Instagram. We'll add it in the description below. But brother, we have to plug you at least a couple times throughout the year, even though you don't like it. Lessons for 2022 for us social sellers. Number 1, adversity is guaranteed. Fucking love it. And it's the truth. Number 2, love is real and it's all around us. It takes different shapes. It takes different forms. It doesn't have to make sense right now. I'm planting the seed. That's the beauty. It might make sense in 2 years, but remember, you heard it here. Number 3, touch nature once per day. AKA, spend 30 seconds admiring a sunrise, admiring the sunset, and talk to someone. Talk to yourself and just say what you like. What color's your favorite? Wow, that's gorgeous. Because usually by admiring it, it opens up our mind. It taps into some DNA as a human thing. Number 3, touch nature. Or number 4, challenge yourself. Any way, any form. We've already talked about it. We all know what 1 step or 5 steps or 10 steps in a better direction, a better version of us, showing up for our family members, our parents, our loved ones, our siblings, our brothers and our sisters, or our significant other, our boyfriend, our girlfriend, our husband, our wife, right? We know the step or 2 or 5 or 10 that we can be doing right now to be that better version. And social sellers challenge ourselves to do it. Why not? And if you don't, it's the beauty is it's like in a selfish way. You become a better person because of going through that experience regardless. So do it for yourself. Number 5, the best introduction is a cheek-to-cheek grin. Smile big. Oscar, you've got a good grin. You're smiling big back there. Number 6, seasons are out of our control, and it's beautiful, it's perfect, it's gorgeous when we're dealing with shitty times in our life. And I guarantee it for every year. It's not true just for this year. It's true for every year of our life. There's going to be some shitty shit that happens, and it's out of our control. And sometimes there's shitty shit that happens for a week, and then it happens for a second week, and you're like, what the hell? Like, this is shit. And it happens for a third week after you're like, someone's out to get me. We're all going to have that year in our life at some point. If we've already had it, God bless. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But have that open mind. Now, I'm saying accepting that adversity, knowing it's happening, but not viewing it as adversity. Like, it doesn't affect me. Like, this is leveling up. I'm glad the universe. I'm glad God, Jesus, all the above. Buddha, thank you. Opposite side of the world. He's throwing that love over here. He's saying, Conor, Oscar, you guys got to level up. God damn it. We both talk about, like, gaming and shit growing up, but for real, like, gaming ourselves, like, do we not want to level up? Leveling up makes us a better version and a better human to give more love and make the world a better place. Here's the best part. For the ones that mean the most, the ones we spend the most time with. That's beautiful, right? Let's be a good reflection for how they raised us. Again, seasons are out of our control, and it's fucking perfect. When it's dark, it feels shitty. No, winter only lasts a few more weeks. Spring is right around the corner, baby. We got blossoms on the way. And when we're in a good season, being grateful for knowing that it's not always going to be rainbows and sunshine. And that's beautiful because there's more levels. The world, the universe, the God, your God, all the gods. They want to put us through, and we can either fight it and swim upstream our whole life, or we can swim downstream and realize we're being taught something throughout this whole life. And it's a pretty short damn life. Nothing's guaranteed. Number 7, book a flight and adventure. Self-explanatory. I have a good feeling less than 9 out of 10 people that listen to this and that listen this far in are going to actually book something. If you book a flight internationally and it's outside of North America, regardless of when you're viewing this video and you're in this interview, send me a DM with a screenshot of what it is and just a quick explanation. I want to do something special for you. I don't know what it is right now. I respect you, and you are a minority, and I love that because I've always believed in the same thing, and you are on a fast track to a life that makes sense, and things just come together, and you become a magnet for opportunities. Now, it's not true if you don't. I get it. It can be scary, and like for certain times, there's certain places in the world you should not go for your own safety. Be realistic. But you also start to learn street smarts, and if you learn that on a global level, goddamn, you're the next Jason Bourne. Or Tomb Raider. Number 8, prayers and gratitude do wonders. It's grateful. It's gratitude, baby. Now you hear it, we hear it all the time. It's in the books, it's everything we read, it's everything we consume. It's surrounded by us, but it's only the successful people, right? Have you ever realized the people that usually are preaching it the most, or at least the content we tend to see the most, are people at the top that are like, oh, they made their money, that's easy to say. Oh, he sold 6 companies. Oh, he started $4 billion companies. Being and paying attention to those and connecting the dots. Successful people usually leave, almost always, I'm actually going to say they always leave a track record, right? You can look into this. You can figure out, we can read their books, we can look into their YouTube channels, and we can start to understand how they operate. There's no excuse not to have a mentor or a coach, whether we can afford to pay one if it makes sense in our life or not. We have a YouTube, baby, and if we're dedicating an hour per day, if we don't have a company yet or as an entrepreneur that wants to become one, that might be the best direction, investing in ourselves, baby. Social sellers, thank you. Oscar, appreciate you. To cap off 2021, I know we're a week and a half into the new year. This is more so the metaphor and the energy that I want to see this community grow. I would love for a real adoption in other, whether you're salespeople, professionals, men, women, anywhere in the world. Like, let's create a community, because I see how this is happening in different parts of the world with Web3, the metaverse, and I have some really cool announcements coming up. But if we can get a cool community created and anyone has ideas, let us know in the comments. We're going to create this. We want to level up and going into the new year. That's why I'm here. I want to dedicate leveling up. This was very uncomfortable. Luckily, it only took 1 to 2 minutes to kind of get into this vibe. I'm here to provide value, and I know Oscar is too. Cheers. We're on to continue providing you weekly content on our YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. We'll see you on the inside. How long was that? Like 34? 25?